Hey guys, this is Austin. A little while ago, I made a video on why you should not buy the iPhone 11 Pro. And yet, here a couple months later, I may or may not have switched to daily driving an iPhone 11 Pro. Look, there's a great reason for this. Let me explain, because there's a lot of things that have happened in smartphones over the last 12 months.
You lied?
That did happen, actually. I was wrong. You know what I'm not wrong about? Sponsor today's video, Vizio. We've actually already done an entire video about the 65-inch P-Series Quantum X HDR Smart TV. What you're getting here is incredible image quality with 165% more color than your average 4K TV. You're also getting incredible black levels with 384 local dimming zones. And this thing gets incredibly bright. We're talking almost 3,000 nits.
Eye-searingly bright.
And it is loaded with smart TV features. We're talking, it's got, of course, all of the standard apps you would expect. It has support for Apple AirPlay 2, it's got Chromecast built in, and you have all the voice assistants you might want, including Alexa, Siri, as well as the Google Assistant. Best of all, this is exclusively on sale at Sam's Club this Saturday, November 9th, for a mere $979.99.
I'm speechless.
This is only available for one day, so definitely be sure to check it out at samsclub.com. Now you might look at the table and think, isn't this just a poor imitation of Marquez's Best Smartphone of the Year awards?
Well, you are wrong.
You are actually kind of right, but this is not an award show. We are not choosing any kind of awards here. What we're doing is giving a better look at the different phones that we've taken a look at this year, because obviously it's easy to review something when it comes out, but there's always more stuff coming up. So this is a good recap. And honestly, a lot of things have changed, especially since we've done videos on some of these phones. Case in point, the iPhone 11.
I mean, this thing is proper cool.
I still stand by what I said in the video, that the iPhone 11 is the iPhone to buy right now. However, I think I was a little bit harsh on the 11 Pro, because while this phone at $300 more doesn't really make sense for most people, it is actually a better phone. Last year, this was a much harder comparison to make. We're in a very privileged scenario where we have a wide variety of phones that we can choose from at any time.
Absolutely.
And yet, what I really kept coming back to with the XR was that battery life. It was so much better. I actually do like the Pro more. The screen is better, although the iPhone 11 screen is just fine. And having that third camera is nice. But I legitimately still absolutely recommend anyone who's considering an iPhone to buy the iPhone 11.
Coming from a XS Max last year, the battery life is insanely good.
Yeah.
The battery is the killer thing on this, especially on the Max. I'm sure you've seen the benefits on the 11 as well.
All of the
Pro.
iPhones this generation have great battery life, which is a really nice thing to say. However, that's not something we can say about some of the other phones that we'd like to talk about, including the Pixel 4. What did they do wrong? Why is this, look, like, no. This is my biggest disappointment of the year. Now, you may have noticed we actually have not done a video on the Pixel 4 here on the channel, and that's for one very simple reason. I started working on the video, I got about 3/4 of the way through writing it up, putting all of my notes together, then I was like, you know what? I just don't like this thing very much, and everyone's going to have the same opinion.
I mean, it certainly didn't help that the wind was taken out of the press event. We already knew everything about this phone before it was announced. Yeah, 6 months before.
There are major problems with the Pixel 4 though. Even not
that
even
aside,
counting.
yes. That
so
aside.
The battery life, specifically on the smaller Pixel 4, is a complete and total deal breaker in 2019. When you're charging $800 for a phone, you do not need to deal with compromises. You shouldn't have to deal with compromises, because at that kind of money, you can get a great all-around phone, such as the iPhone 11 Pro, such as the iPhone 11, such as the Galaxy S10. There are a lot of phones that don't drop the ball, and the battery life is unacceptable on the Pixel 4. It's worse than the 3, and it has a 90 Hz display. And that's not even to get into the other issues with the phone. The 90 Hz display is great when it works, which is like half the time it feels like. I know they're working on updates.
It works
but
when
like,
it likes.
It's stupid. And then no ultra wide. I mean, the Pixel has always had the best phone, or at least for the last couple years, has had the best camera on a phone, period. Now, I would argue that I do think that the standard wide angle is a bit better than the iPhone 11 and 11 Pro. But beyond that, the ultra wide, and especially the video capabilities of the iPhone, pushed over the edge. This is the best camera on a smartphone as far as the full package for me right now.
I mean, for me personally, I actually do like the telephoto a lot on the Pixel. Nice. I mean, again, same reason why I like the telephoto on this. I feel like I use it a lot. I think they do telephoto a lot better than most of the other phones out there.
But the thing is, they so heavily push this radar function as like, look how cool it's going to be. And yet realistically, it's not really that useful. And in fact, I remember we were in Japan recently and I got a notification saying that the radar was turned off, like those functions were turned off. It's just like, okay, cool. Like obviously it's a little bit of an edge case, but there's so many issues with the Pixel 4 this year that I can't recommend it. Like straight up, I cannot easily recommend a Pixel 4 when there are other phones that I think do a better job.
I mean,
in pretty much every way.
especially this phone right here, which, I mean, Austin will also talk about way more, but the OnePlus 7T is probably one of our favorite phones, if not our favorite phone of the year.
So first of all, the 7 Pro was the first time that they stepped out of their sort of comfort zone and made a little bit more of an expensive flagship. Has a killer display, 90 hertz, which, it's so good. So unlike the Pixel, which runs at 90 hertz sometimes, the OnePlus 7 Pro as well as the 7T run at 90 hertz all the time, and it makes such a difference. That paired with the fact that this is a killer looking OLED screen, this is like my favorite overall screen of the year. With that faster display, I find myself picking up the OnePlus a lot more than I had ever picked up something like the Pixel 3, which was my previous Android daily driver, purely because something as simple as scrolling through Twitter is so much snappier, so much more responsive, and for me, that makes all the difference. I love how fast this phone is.
I mean, on the topic of this getting timely updates, I mean, you're really reaping all of the benefits of the Pixel 4 at this point, arguably with a better build of Android, but on a phone that's just way better. I mean,
it's cheaper too.
It's cheaper. It's cheaper by what, $200?
$200.
Yeah.
Now, the OnePlus I will actually usually pick up for most tasks, except anytime I need to take any kind of photo or video, iPhone's got to beat hands down. Now, at $600, I'm willing to make that sacrifice, especially considering how good the rest of the phone is. But it is a better camera system away from being the greatest phone of 2019.
I don't think this camera, as you said, goes head to head with the Pixel or the iPhone, but I like that this is a step in the right direction. What they did with this camera was essentially make the ultra wide and the telephoto, the two cameras that people are probably not going to use, primarily. They made those two cameras better. The telephoto is incredibly sharp. It's sharper than something you get on this.
Yeah.
It's probably head to head with the Pixel. I still have to, actually compare these two to really say for sure, but it's really good. They just need to get that main camera set, that's all. And then this would probably be the perfect smartphone otherwise.
However, let's say you want to spend a little bit less money. Don't we all?
I don't have that problem.
Talking to the wrong person, you're just gonna spend our money anyway. So the Pixel 3a was a little bit of a surprise this year. At $400, this is by far the cheapest Pixel around, and the most important selling point of this guy is the fact that it has the same camera from the excellent Pixel 3, except that they made a few questionable decisions, shall we say?
I mean, the plastic build's probably the first one. It feels a little cheap.
It's a little cheap, but the performance for me, like the Pixel 3 was not a super fast phone. The 3a sort of had, maybe not quite that issue right out of the box, but it has significantly worse specs. And in an age where you can get very, very powerful phones for $200, $300, $400, the fact that they had pretty much seemingly put all their money in the camera and sort of skimped and everything else makes this kind of a little bit of a harder sell. But you know what also has a better value than this, in my opinion, is this guy, which is the Razer Phone 2. Now this is actually technically cheating. This came out last year. While it does have a lot going for it, I think a lot of people are probably gonna be put off by the size. It's kind of a little bit too big, I think, for most people, but it has great 120 hertz display. It's got killer audio, but at $400, I actually think the Razer Phone is a good pick.
Yeah.
You know what else deserves an honorable mention? Samsung.
Yeah.
No, straight up, the Galaxy S10 is probably, it's easy to say, especially considering how early it came out in the year, this is one of the best phones of the year because it really didn't they didn't cut any corners, right?
Yeah.
So you have the notchless display, you've got the triple cameras, you've got the wireless charging, the great display, you've got the headphone jack. I mean, yes, this phone came out early, but it really kind of paved the way for everything else this year.
I mean, it also, because it's been out for quite a bit, you can actually catch it on sale at points.
Yes, that's a really key point.
I think one of our favorite phones of the year, actually, on note of the S10 is the S10e. The S10e is a fantastic value, and at points in the year, we actually saw that phone hit $350, $400. I mean,
no-brainer.
You'd have to hunt around for those prices, and you could even find those refurbished, for that price. But honestly, if you find this lower than retail, absolutely go for it. I think it's genuinely one of the best phones that we've looked at this year.
Absolutely. What is your favorite phone of this year?
Oh. Okay, so I mean, aside from the one that I know I'm gonna get every year, let's be real. No, I think my favorite phone, I'm on your camp on this. I actually do think that this is my favorite phone of the year, the OnePlus 7T.
Awesome.
This hit all of the right notes for me, way better than I thought it was going to, before this phone actually came out and, when it was just all rumor and speculation. This really surprised me. I love the screen. I love the other 2 cameras on it. The performance is great. There's just so much to love about this phone.
What do you think? Which iPhone should I have recommended, and which Android phone are you using right now? Because obviously that's no. Don't. I still stand by my original statement. You really shouldn't buy this phone. It is pretty good though.